Today we're going to look at some of the artifacts that were pulled out of the effigy site. I want to show you guys this big old bird here. He's a very large one. And this is prime time for looking at these because the sun is low, so you can see the shadows and things. This is the best time to be able to look at this type of art. Kind of a close look at his face there and his eye. Of course, you guys know what a bird looks like. This is the beak. He's got his wings out and he's flying. Go ahead and maybe take a look at, if we can, we'll try to take a look at the shadow of this bird. You see it right there. It's really cool. So we're going to look at the other side here. You guys see that I have a picture of the Cahokia Birdman. This is in Illinois. If you guys don't know about Cahokia, a lot of people don't know that we have ancient sites here in North America. You'll notice how his nose is elongated, and he is half bird, half man. That's his wing down there. So they mixed and morphed humans with birds, these ancient people did. We don't know a lot about these ancient people, but we do know that they existed. This would be the eye for him. You'll notice on the bottom there, he has ripples for his beard, of a bigger chin, and his long nose there. There's a little etch for his mouth. You see he's kind of carved up there. Remember, this is a statue. We just looked at the bird on the other side, so you know that this is a statue. This is another totem on this side as well. They made these very interesting multifaceted art. Now you see how that rough part turns into the top of the head. See if I can get it focused for us. And we'll go ahead and look at the shadows. You can see that this would be the eye right here. Big section, it's even rounded out. It takes a second to understand that these are statues, but I think these are really clean examples of bird effigies and of artifacts like this are going to show us that. Now, archaeologists are not doctors, so if they tell you you have pareidolia, then, you know, tell them they're not doctors. Don't listen to them and don't let them get you discouraged. There's some holes in the back of the gateway piece here, and I believe that was where you could stick a couple feathers. So we might do that later on. Real quick again, if you haven't seen it yet, when you turn this guy upside down, he's raising his hand, and this is his face now. That's his chin. He's got an open mouth. That's his nose, and his eye is up here. All the white section is his body, and right here is his face. You guys see that? It's very beautiful. Of course, there are many faces in this. You can see, if you just look at the black section, the carved out eye there. Remember, this is a statue. This was made by ancient people. It's hard to wrap our heads around it, I understand. But it's true. Some people have emailed me, told me to stop doing what I'm doing because it could be dangerous. I don't believe that. I believe that we just don't know about this stuff yet. I don't think anyone's trying to hide it. I think that we just haven't found a site so well preserved before. So you'll see how this has these black spots on here. This is polish on crystal, and we're going to look at a lot of crystal today. Got a bunch of it out. This is a bird head, a painted quartz bird head. Of course, the black spot would be his eye. This is just a white piece of quartz. You can see how the inside there should be all white, but this is a painted piece. I have several painted rocks, but what I want to show you is that black polish there. So there's some sections in here that maybe were windows to look into when you put them up to the sun. I'm not going to put them up to the sun today, but I'm going to grab a flashlight later on tonight and try to show you some of these as if we were putting them up to the sun. Look at some more of these bird heads here. So this is just representative of a bird head. The black polished section there is the eye, of course. look at this one here. It does have a lot of that polish on there again. Some kind of black coating. Just had to wash him off. He was a little dirty. So with this art, there are archetypes. There are only so many archetypes, just like we have the, what I used to call elongated nose version, which I believe is this guy here. He's only one of several. Let's go and take a look at some of these totems here. These totems are just light enough to carry for a strong person. You can see that the way that they're shaped, you just stick them right into the ground there. I'm gonna go ahead and look at some of the paint on here and see if we can see any kind of petroglyphs or symbolism. You can see that red paint there, that's on a lot of the statues. A lot of it on this side has faded off. You can still see some of it remaining. Let's look at some of these large crystal guys. So, you can probably see, if I can get it focused for us, all the sparkle and everything on this totem. He has this coating on here. I wonder why my camera is not focusing today. He has a lot of this kind of clay pack on here, and we're gonna go ahead and maybe take a look at some of this stuff. These crystals will just fall right out. They're placed on this piece, maybe as additions. You can see all this section right here is polished using some type of technology. We're not exactly sure how they did it yet, and that's why we want to get some people on this that are studying this. I really don't want to pull off this stuff, but this is a clay pack that was put upon this and stored, that, you know, to preserve it. Maybe for us to find it. There's probably a ceremonial type of ritual here, but as you can see, this material here, this actually isn't mud. This is hard. This is a hard material. We're not sure what that is just yet. I'm sorry for the focus, I really am. We're not sure what that is yet, and I really don't want to go ripping it off there, but you can see how it's very sparkly, and it's got some type of mineral perhaps in it. Maybe it's the stuff that they put on there to soften the stones. Maybe it's that weird plant material. We're not sure. So I have a lot of crystal out here, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and show you some of these. This is exaggerated nose version again, much like the Cahokia Birdman. So you tilt him just the right way here, and he will represent a face. He's also an eagle. This one does have some black paint on him, as you can see back here. The first Pinocchio. So you're going to look at the edges there to see the profile portraits. You look for the eyes within the stone there. You see that diamond shaped eye right there toward the front of the face. Put it right in the middle of the screen. That's his eye. There's a lot with this stone. This would be the eagle head. You can see the black now representing the back of the eagle's head. And then that nose turns into a beak. Another shot of that black paint that is placed upon this quartz. So I took a quick look at some of these before I brought them out, but this is an intense kind of art, and there's so many things going on with these that it's hard to just on the spot kind of describe them for you. Most of these are birds, so the way that they would bury them is they just leave the bird on top sticking out. And then after you open it up there, you pull it out, and then you can see that they turn into totem ants on the side. So you kind of tilt it to where you can see those lips come out, and you'll start seeing these profile images. And not just on one side, but on every edge and all over the stone. Some of that dense, very hard clay will remain on the eyes, even after you wash them off. Sometimes you look at the colors, and sometimes you just look at the shapes. I've got a video of me extracting this particular piece. This is, again, another beautiful bird head. Maybe it's a dinosaur head. But this clay pack that's on here is very hard. I've washed this stone off before. It's some type of cement. It's meant to be on there. It's meant to give this stone color. You can see there the crystal eye. I wish I had 3 arms, I could point at it, but I guess I'll just put it right in the middle of the screen there. You see how it's polished? And so we'll tilt that just right, and you start to see a profile image with a long chin. They were big into large headdresses. There's very often with these archetypes, you're going to have a large headdress. These are totems as well, so they stick in the ground. I'd like to demonstrate for you, I guess, how I can throw these right into the ground with one shot. It's maybe how they got strength, or how they showed their strength within the tribe, is having these large totems. You can see some of the crystal work left inside there, some of nature's work. They accentuated what nature did. And this stone also has some polish on it. There's a couple of these with really, really great eyes. And so I'm going to go ahead and show those to you if I can find them. Okay, this one is one. So he has a recessed face, and you can see how there's a piece of white crystal here at the top. And you can see how the lips there, the little indentation right here, that is the mouth. There are a lot of images on this, and it could be different ways, but you really push it to the extreme when you look away like this. It's really just the edge of the face, as if you're looking from behind the person almost, over the shoulder. And you turn it back and forth, and you'll see the profile portrait come out. And you'll see different ones. On this side, see how they use the natural lines of the quartz there, that red line and that round spot going over an eye. Let's take a look at this one. Some incredibly large pieces of quartz. This one still has some kind of ochre paint on it. Some red paint, perhaps. But it also has that polish, you guys can see. You can see how it is shining at us there. It's polished, made to be very smooth. Some archaeologists have suggested that the way that they polished these stones was with grass, because grass has silica or sand in it. So they would use maybe crushed up grass or some way of doing. This is one that I'm glad I found right here. Wanted to find for you guys. This is a polished black eye inside of the stone here. And you can see he's got, this is one of the archetypes with the large nose and kind of the big chin. So that eye is very defined for you guys. And when you poke them out there, you can see those lips come out. You can turn them in different ways. That eye is probably used for a couple different portraits and profile pictures. You see how when you look away, it begins to look very human-like. Just peeking back at you. You can see the hair. You see how flat this stone is on the bottom. That's because it is a statue. You notice that all of these will have flat bottoms. Maybe look at it from this side, on the left-hand side profile perhaps. I don't see it using that same eye, but I see it using this spot right here, this indentation and piece of, you know, they use the natural quartz, natural lines in the quartz to show these portraits. I think that's coming out very nicely. Looking right here at this eye, see the eyes are always very close to the edge. So with the shadows there, you can see how this would be a full head of hair. This is a head of a person. You just turn it away and you can turn it back. See how the face is kind of recessed in there. This is a very beautiful piece of ancient art. Go ahead and take a look at this one here in the sun while we still have it. Some awesome crystal poking out. I'm trying to put a name on this. I'm not sure what it is yet. I have started to see in some art the serpents. Serpents were a part of this culture as well, just like they were part of the Christian culture. The Adam and Eve and the snake, you guys know. It's part of our human culture. So that big dugout section there with that beautiful crystal, if you can see, it would be the eye left there for us, carved away. I'm really trying to keep this focused for us. If anyone has any camera tips on it, maybe I just need to quit using my phone for this, but this is, if you look at the edge there again, it's got like a really neat headdress on. This is one of the diamond-shaped archetypes. I have a couple of these. This is another one of the 8 or 9 archetypes that there are. There are not that many. This side would probably be the recessed beak of the cardinal, but he's got a little bit too big of a top there for that. So maybe he's this way. Not sure, but this is a very wonderful piece. Lots of wild crystal in it, you can see, and you can see that eye socket there with that crystal left in there. The eyes are very important to these people. The eyes are very important to us. We were both humans. This is not a crystal totem. This is some type of Egyptian style totem, perhaps. You know, I'm not really sure what they are. Nobody's really sure just yet, but we're seeing this evidence of square blocks. This is a square carrying handle on here, and there's still some of the color on the paint. I'm sorry, on the clay there, some of the dye that they put within the paint. And if we look on the edge here, we'll actually see some scratches and marks. This is scratched on, made. This isn't just damage. I pulled this out of the clay and still haven't cleaned the clay off of it, and you can see how the clay has been packed on there. Packed on there by hand. So this is a totem of a man or a woman, depending on which way you look at it. It's many different things, but this is created by human beings. On the camera, you may be able to pick up on some more of the drawings and hieroglyphs or petroglyphs. Right here, I'm seeing an eye still, or perhaps the sun. It's going to be a portrait of a person this way. One of the archetypes is sitting right here. I had taken pictures of this and drawn out these archetypes. You can see this is a triangle with the slashes through it. This is an emblem, I believe, of some sort. One day I will take off the rest of this clay. This is a Dolem statue, is what I've been calling a Dolem statue. He's still very dirty. He still has, see, inside of this clay pack. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off for us right now. But these are packed in clay, and around this clay, they will put other stones. I want you to see how this was not a part of this statue. This is packed in there with it. So this is perhaps another small face effigy. Remember, these people were extremely religious. So we're gonna go ahead and try to get some shadows in him. And we'll show you how he's kind of like an Easter Island style totem. I should just clean him off, and I think I will, but for now, you can see some of the red ochre still on his eye there, where I extracted this one on camera as well in the early days. You can see how he's completely flat on the bottom. You see the nose, and then there's the little lips that poke out. This is an alligator head, or a crocodile head. Crocodile head is also one of the Egyptian gods, which is very interesting on perhaps clues on what we are looking at. I don't think that this is Egyptian per se. This is a statue of a woman when carried, simulates pregnancy. This is not a stone. This is a crafted pottery type mixture. It just falls apart, as you can see. I don't think this was meant to be carried around and brought to different places. This was made in honor of whoever is buried there at the mound. These were all gifts for whoever is there. This statue is also flat on the bottom, and it's round, of course, because of the hair and the head. And then inside of this edge is going to be a face. I believe this would be the eye, but there's several in there. Each one of these layers would probably be another portrait as you look at it from the edge there. The same applies every time when you're looking at these. Now this, what I mean by that is the same thing as by looking at it from the edge, from the side. So this is also a totem. So you stick that end into the ground and let it stick up. And then on the edge there, you'll see that this would be the woman with the very long hair, one of the 8 archetypes. There's going to be a face somewhere, somehow, in right here, and then all this is hair coming up. Very tall headdress. It's one of the styles and one of the archetypes, just as the Birdman of Cahokia is. I don't think or know for sure if they are from the same group of people. But I do know that I want to find out more. So on this totem, we can flip him over. And I can at least put him on the side there. You can see how he's flat on the top. And then this spot right here is a red eye. He's got a headdress on and a recessed face. You can see those little lips poking out there. He sticks in the ground just like this on the bottom. If you look over here, I don't want to really drag him around too much, but I need to show you guys this as well. This is some red ochre paint still on him. I could wash him off as well, but really I think you guys can see a lot more, see a lot more of the evidence if I don't. So you can see this black polish that was put on here. Several different things going on with this beautiful piece of quartz. Very large, heavy, just heavy enough to carry. So I will try to lift him up here, perhaps stick him in the ground, but you kind of have to throw him in the ground. So this here, you'll see the polished section right up here is that same sparkly polish that is on a lot of the quartz, some kind of technology that they used. Give you a good shot of that portrait. This very large headdress on. You look from the other side, you can see that the red spot will represent the eye, and the shadows really help us to see these. suppose if I keep on twisting this enough, might make it in there. But for now, we'll just lay it down. All right, guys, we're at 25 minutes here, so I'm gonna go ahead and probably end it. I still have a whole bunch more to go through, lots of crystals and things that I want to show you guys. I'll give you one more shot of, let's say this one here. We'll try to put this one, well, now that the sun is getting a little bit lower, you can start to see, believe it or not, this is actually a bird head. Inside there would be the eye. It's like a little window to look through. This is where we started with the showing the black polish that they put on this quartz. Notice this does not happen naturally. This was made, built, this polish, and these slivers like this are not going to occur naturally. We're archaeologists, are not doctors. They do not have the authority to diagnose you with peridola. And when they do, they're out of their element. They're wrong. Have a great day, guys. I hope you enjoy it. And we'll see you next time.